everyone! As promised from my last tutorial video this past Monday, I am just doing a work in progress Wednesday on my newest project, which is Matsuoka Rin from the anime Free. I'm actually doing his Arabian robes from the first season ending. And I thought that these work in progress videos could actually perhaps help people in their future progress, bring more dimension to the techniques that I'm showing in my tutorial, providing a better application for them, and also just inspiring people in the way that I translate my costumes from 2D sketches to the 3D realm and a lot of the thought process that I go through. I really just hope that any and all of my videos help people. I think that's really what drives me to keep making them is just, ask questions in the comments section if you have anything you want to know, because once again, I enjoy making these videos. But enough about that. I know we just want to see the progress and see the work in progress and the work at hand. So, let's start off just explaining Rin's Arabian robe in the season 1 ending. Black robe, no big discerning designs on it except gold piping on the sleeves. But thinking about that, because I'm me and I enjoy really pushing my techniques and my thought process when transforming 2D characters to the 3D realm, I thought about the character, I thought about his region of where he possibly would have lived, his historical and cultural context. So he's portrayed as essentially a sultan in the ending. At least the fandom has kind of made that canon or understood that he's some sort of sultan figure. Um, and being a very wealthy figure within this desert region, there isn't any specified country stated. However, my assumption is going to be that somehow with his money, he's connected with the Silk Road, and a lot of not only goods but textiles came through. Thinking about that, I thought of really luxurious textiles to incorporate into the robes. So I started with various velvets. Now, velvet is not traditional of that region because it's very warm fabric. It's more tradition to northern realms, let's just say Tudor, Elizabethan England, that kind of region and time period. But this is a fantasy costume. I can do, I can incorporate whatever just for the sake of look and for the sake of just having fun. And I think everyone should think about that for their own costumes. If you feel it is right in your mind or you really just want to try it and see how it looks, go for it. It's your costume. You should have the freedom to do what you want. Because goodness knows that I think that every time that I try and create something. Um, so anyway, I chose 4 different types of fabrics. I chose a cotton velvet, really plush, very nice rich color. A burnout velvet here. As you can see, this is more of the negative burnout. And then this one up here is the positive burnout. So thinking about it, kind of like photography, in this burnout we have burnt the image out of the fabric or the velvet. In this one we've burnt the negative areas, leaving the positive image onto the fabric. That's just a small detail, just I don't know, just thinking more objectively about the fabrics I choose. I was just thinking, you know what, it would be really interesting to incorporate various velvets or various burnout styles of velvet. So I was like, you know what, that would be really cool to add a negative burn with a positive burn. And then it still seems like, it still seems appropriate for each fabric as far as the grouping. Next, lastly, I chose a suede fabric. And the reason I chose a suede is because technically suede does have a very, 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 very small pile to it. And that connects it with the other fabrics that are piled fabrics, such as the velvet. Um, and pile is just a term that we often use with fur or any kind of fabric that has kind of a fibrous texture on top of it. So suede does technically have a pile because when I run my fingers over it, I can disturb the look of the fabric. Like I can see small, I guess small fibers that kind of um, brush up, brush against the grain, etc., etc. But those are just details. Sorry. I do enjoy rambling because I do enjoy working with fabrics and sewing. So I can just talk about it for hours. However, we want to get down to business as far as how in the world did I create this kind of quilted look to give my Sultan Rin a more dynamic image. So very luxurious. He has enough money to not only make a coat out of velvet, but a coat out of technically 4 different types of velvet or piled materials. Um, so I started out cutting 3-inch strips of my material, um, of each material, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches. And if you watch my previous tutorial video talking about velvets, it talks about how to easily cut velvet. Velvet you can actually rip on the grain. Surprise! Makes it a lot easier. But check out the previous video, Introduction to Velvet. So after I cut the 3-inch strips, I angled the bottom to give me that nice kind of angled chevron look that you can see in the quilting style. I'll hold the fabric up again so you can see that. And then, so I will do a quick demonstration with a piece that I have kind of cut and prepped. I think this one is it. Oh, no, that's not it. No. Well, we'll work with it. So I'm just going to cut the angle just so it can be sewn and woven properly into my pattern. You don't have to angle it. You could just sew it with the, I guess, the squared off strip. However, just noted, the angle, this angle that you cut into your strip is going to alter how your chevron lays in the end. So if I do a really dynamic, like a really steep dynamic angle, it's going to lay actually a little flatter. It's not going to have as deep of a angle in the chevron. Or if I cut it, wow, if I even do a reverse, no, I can't do that. But anyway, you have the idea. So anyway, I have cut the angle into my 3-inch strip, as you can see. There's a little point. With that point, I am going to pin it to the bottom point of my chevron, or I'm just going to call it my chevron weave, make it sound really, really fancy. So I'm just going to pin it face to face. Let me do this in reverse. I'm going to pin it face to face, right side to right side, depending on how you like to term it. You can either say right side to right side or face to face. So here we go. There's the wrong side. I pinned it face to face. And once I sew along that bottom edge there, or top edge, once I sew along that and I'm able to flip that fabric out, there's another layer. There's my little point there. There's another layer to the angle or the chevron weave. I don't know the best way or the best angle to hold it at for you to see, but you get the idea. So the most, well, maybe not the most, but a very, very important step to remember is press out your seams after each strip you sew on, because it's gonna look clean in the end. Um, never forget to press your seams as a seamstress, because it's just gonna make it look very clean and crisp in the end. Also, it's gonna maybe show you some imperfections in the fabric, like perhaps when you fed it through the machine, your layers, the differential feed was a little off. The feed was just kind of fighting against each other. If you do get slight pucker, you're definitely going to see that when you press, because it's going to fight against a straight, a nice straight grain. Anyway, so I'll show you. There you go. There's all my this is the back of the fabric. So these are my little seams that I've pressed out individually, just to make sure that the end product looks very clean and natural. So pretty happy about it so far, to be honest. I'm still working with it because the velvet pile, you have to be delicate with it. The pile itself tends to make it a slippery feed when you're putting it through the machine. The pile of the velvet is very soft, so it's gonna slip a lot. But other than that, if you do have any questions or comments after this video, you just have questions about your own work in progress that you're doing, your own costume, you can also put it in the comments below. I think I can address that in a future work in progress Wednesday. I can share others' work in progress and my opinion as to how, hey, you might be able to accomplish that technique this way. And all in all, thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe down below, just to help keep these videos coming, and just, to provide a little extra motivation for myself, especially with such a new channel. Thank you so much. I'm Athel Artistry, and I hope to see you in the future.